We're here in Tobago, and I'm with Michael. Michael, you had a session, a QHHT session with me.
Yes.
A week ago, kind of?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me first, why did you want to have a session? What were you looking for?
Well, from what I understood about your field is that it could answer some questions that have been lingering on my mind for some time. And I also have an issue with my health. And I also consider myself fairly spiritual. It just led me to want to believe and find out a little more about what was really going on in a lot of aspects of my life. I have never had an opportunity in other types of fields to explore this until I heard about
QHHT.
QHHT.
And how would you describe QHHT for someone that has no clue what it is?
I would say it's a lot of information. Keep your mind open. Don't prejudge it because you really don't know what it is. And if you're seeking information and you're seeking realization, it's a good tool to allow yourself to examine your own self through your media. It's like a fantasy, to have the perfect scenario to go into, to have someone investigate your life through your own mind, through your own self. And it's nothing, it's no hoax, because if it was, we both have to be in on it.
That's right.
Okay, so
yeah.
and then I just kept an open mind, and it turned out to be not quite what I expected, because it took a bit of a phenomenal turn, but nevertheless it was, I think, more beneficial that way. I hope sometime in the future to repeat it and get a little more information as time goes by, and to put into practice what I've heard, and to fulfill some of the things that I believe I need to do, to allow myself to access my higher self and have the end of it is a better life.
Yeah. And what was that twist that you talked about? What happened in your session? Would you mind giving us a brief summary of everything that went on in your session?
My session, as I understood it, when the questions were laid out about what I really wanted to find out about, okay, we covered most of them, but after a few minutes into it, things just took a turn, and there was another entity present, an entity that I have engaged through my entire life. I on a spiritual line, if you're a spiritual person, I have always had a link to my namesake nemesis, Michael the Archangel. But that was in my mind in thought and prayer. I never one day felt it will actually materialize into some connection. I mean, that was just out there. It just didn't seem to be possible before this.
Yeah.
It was a very enlightening awakening for me. And it's important to allow yourself to go into the hypnosis. At first I think, a little fighting it. And then I just let go, and then I don't even remember the point at which I went, but I knew I got there. Carlos thinks I got there.
You definitely got there, yeah.
It was powerful stuff for me. I'm really pleased I did it.
Do you remember the answers that Archangel Michael gave you about certain topics, certain things, including your health?
I remember a few of them, but they really came to me in listening to the recording after. Some things I remember. I could hear noises in the room. I remember some things that were really outstanding. The real information came from listening to the recording over and over and over, which Carlos said I had to do. Because every time I seemed to listen to it, I say, but I didn't hear that before. And it seems to bring different messages and different realizations to you. And that's how you get a grasp of what actually happened.
What was one of those realizations that you had while hearing it?
Well, to think that there's a force, a being, him, that is on your side and looking out for you, and there's something happening in the background of your life that you hope and pray for every day, but it was astonishing to see it actually happen and come to life in your mind, and be able to hear it, because I couldn't see it outside of the session, and after the session I can't see it. but I have the recording, and the recording is primarily of some of my voice, but mostly of his. That's where the proof of the whole thing really came to me.
In all of the years that I've been practicing QHHT, this is a first. Never ever has Archangel Michael came in or being channeled by anyone. So I don't think you quite understand yet the magnificent session that you had. Do you feel like you had a breakthrough listening to the session?
Well, being something that I had always hoped for, in some small way. You know, you pray and you look at things and you believe things, and you never hear anybody answer. And to actually have a conversation through callers about certain things, and the answers be put out there to you, and you can grasp that they are true in your life, in your mind. They are things that are relevant to you. It's not a story being painted about something or anything. It's all relevant. And when you listen to it over and over, it really is. But as I said, it taking that direction was never on my mind, and maybe that's a good thing. And it really has strengthened me.
In what ways?
Well, as I said, the realization, you believe now more than ever. And we are humans, and it's difficult sometimes. The atheists will tell us, oh, you're praying to something you cannot see, you cannot hear, you cannot never know, right? And I can look them in the face now and say, you're wrong. I have. I have. And you can discount it as a hoax or whatever you want, but I was there, and there was no benefit for me in creating a hoax, even for this interview. This is reality, and this is real, and this is what actually happened. Things just kept going from one point to the other, and well, Carlos knew the right questions to ask, so to get me through it.
That's right.
You
You talked about your health, that you were looking for better health. What was happening to your health before the session?
I've been diagnosed with liver disease. I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I had an incident when I was 15 years old where I ingested half a glass of petrol. And I was left there, and I never found out about it till 20 years later. But it was damaging my liver, and without any care being applied, it just brought me to this point today. And my deepest fears were realized a few months ago when a team of top-class physicians suggested I may have to go to India for a liver transplant. And then it got worse because I can't have a transplant. I have to have a partial implant. And the partial implant has to come from one of my sons. And I told Carlos, it's really beyond me to put one of my children through that. We have ideas of how well it should go, and it should go, but the doctors keep saying that it should go. And they give you a lot of nice percentages, 85% out of 100. But it's, it leaves these doubts in your mind. And for me, at 58 years old, I've had a full life. And I would love to live, I would love to go on. But putting one of my sons through that, and then putting a question mark over their lives, it was just beyond me. So hearing what I have heard, and now trying to go and live what I have heard, I've given myself a new chance at it. I feel a lot more hopeful. Some things that were said, mind you, we were not given any guarantees about anything. It was sort of recommendations and ways and things you can do, right? And a lot depends on you. I can tell you honestly, this is no on and off switch. You're finished with Carlos and you walk out of the room and you start to fly. Don't go and stand up on a building and think you can fly, you know what I mean? Because you'll quickly find out that it doesn't work that way. But it does leave you with the realization that there is hope in our hopelessness as humans sometimes, when we get depressed and we get afraid, and those sort of things step in and they limit your ability to get healed, to get healing, even to think clearly about what you should or should not be doing. And now I don't feel that way. I tell you one astonishing thing that, and I was about to tell Carlos today, is that I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, but I hope I'm right. It has taken, by giving me hope, it has taken and allowed me to take some of the fear away from it. And I can't tell you that just removing 50% of that fear makes me so light, makes me so open to different ideas and different things to try and heal myself, right? And to use what was said in the session about healing myself and things to do and a way of life. And if you're seeking a new or a better way of life, and if you're just doing this for inquiry's sake, well, fine. If you're doing this with a definite purpose, I think even better for you, because I believe if you have a good session, you will get answers.
What are some of the things that you were told to do about your health? What do you have to do to get better in order to get better? And Archangel Michael used a lot of parables.
Yes.
Do you remember what those were?
Yes, some of them, yes. But first, let me say that my entire life I've spent taking care of people. Some I feel I went too far with. Not my parents. I had the opportunity to take care of my parents and watch both of them die in my arms. And that was a realization in all in itself. But trying to make myself better from what was told to me, I was told that I need to focus on myself a little more. And a message to everyone: that is not just for me. You can give, you can share, and I can tell you, your first priority is yourself. Because they tell you on the plane, put on your mask first and then attend to those in your care. Because if you go, there is no care to be given. And you will actually hurt mankind by not being able to help them and fulfill your purpose as a human being on this earth, unless you take care of yourself first. And I have neglected that. Now I've been told that I have to reverse that, and it has affected my thinking. I've now have to find ways to do it without offending people. But just take care of myself first of all, and then be able to feel the healing. And I was told that I should fast for 3 days and pray during that fast, that God would see me and hear my prayers and hear my wishes and hear my cries to Him for healing and for a better life. I have 3 kids, and I still feel I have the world to do for them. And I resigned from work when I was 50, and I've been trying to support them in what they're doing. And to be faced with this dilemma in my life now about my health, it really burdens me that I may or may not be here. But now I have a different outlook. I'm more driven to do what I need to do in the sure and certain hope that something good will happen. You know, and you know what, folks? Let's for a minute say something good does not happen. You have the satisfaction today of knowing that you openly and freely tried, because you heard something, because you got some new instructions, because you were told of some things that you were not probably doing right. And they're sensible, they're not out of this world, and nobody's planning a trip to the moon. All they're saying is take care of yourself, right? And in your realization in your life, if you're a Christian, enact that Christianity and enact that communication with God. So He, however you see Him to be, however you picture that divine being in your life, that turn to Him and He will answer you. He can answer you. It's not as hopeless as we as human things sometimes. There is help, and we always, some of us believe that we're fully in charge of our destiny, and I don't think we are. I think that there's ways and avenues that we can get help from the right places. I've exploited the best doctors available to me, and here I am today, and I'm just going through the paces now in the hope that, hey, something good will happen, because I witnessed something good, and I feel good about it. You know, some of the parables were, they were a little strange to Carlos, but having done some Bible study, one was, what is bound in heaven is bound on earth. When Carlos asked about my healing of my liver, and the answer we got was just that, meaning that if it is wished in heaven, it will happen on earth. And I feel that time is the time given to me to correct certain things in my life, and hope that we will get, and believe that we will get to that point. It also told me that what happened to me wasn't absolutely natural.
What do you mean by that?
It wasn't too kosher. The word I was used that I was afflicted. And we all know that there's good and evil in this world. And I run a fairly high profile in public life. And sometimes you draw not just friends, but some people who don't appreciate your presence. And they may do things or just say things and speak that ill-spoken word into the universe, and things happen. And it has told me that it has been dealt with. I saw a statue that I thought was a statue. I thought it was stone. And when I got close to it, I realized it was a human form. It's flesh. It is. I told Carlos, the man is standing there, but he's so tall, and it looks like he has wings. And he came on and said a portion of the 23rd Psalm in front of me. He said, look, I've prepared a table before you, a feast, in the presence of your enemies. A quick realization that came to me was that, imagine you're standing there in probably a dark hour, a time of need, a time of despair, and you're praying into Jesus to somebody, God, help me through this, and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, that's all you're saying. And all of a sudden, you realize there's a voice standing beside you that says, I'm here. What will you do? That's the voice I heard. That's the voice that made me realize that I'm not alone in this. And it's good to know that you're not alone with someone good, when you know for a fact you're not alone, because there are people out there who are not good. Right? So it rearranges your whole mental outlook. And Carlos said it was phenomenal. For me, it was a whole new world. It was a whole, and I thank God that I kept an open mind. My son asked me, what do I think? I said, I don't know what to think. I don't know anything about it.
How will your life change after this?
Well, as I said, I have become more positive. I've become a lot more hopeful. And I see myself thinking and doing and wanting to plan things that would involve that hopefulness, that positive sense. And hoping that that gets me to a point of healing, and I can carry on my life and continue. Maybe that's my gift, to help people, and I'll find a way to continue doing that. To think that we thought we would have to journey to America, and then out of a country in turmoil right next to us, up comes. Right, so we thank God for His intervention. We thank God for the knowledge of the craft that He's using, that you all are using, and it was all Greek to me prior to this. But I can tell you, I've learned some Greek now, and it is a wonderful feeling. I don't think I paid him enough, but it is a wonderful feeling, and I hope and wish that Carlos gets everything out of it in taking him forward in his will, because I believe that he and other persons like himself also needs encouragement. also needs to be appreciated in what you do. And that's something I try to do in my life, to make people around me feel appreciated, because believe me when I tell you, everybody has a little piece of the secret. Everything has a little piece of the secret. Unfortunately, we are left to decipher and absorb and draw. And after this session and during this session, I can draw a whole book and I'll probably won't be finished. And I'm hoping one day to repeat it and get some further directions as to where my life should be going.